Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is now right at the top of the hour. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off for today's AM Power. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. You've probably heard me say this in the past, but there's nothing I love more than a new month or a new week or a chance to really just kind of reset and re-engage with your life. Hello, my name is Heidi Stallard. I'm your host for today's AM Power. I am your Chief Impact Officer here at Vital Health. And if you are catching this live, I want to go ahead and encourage you to go ahead, drop where you're coming in from in the chat below. If you are catching this as the replay, thanks for hopping on. All of our replays and links can be found in our team boards. We do post our AM Powers as recordings on our team podcast. You can find that on pretty much all streaming podcasts or all streaming platforms, excuse me, as well as our YouTube. So they'll be a little bit behind, but the beautiful thing is that you never have to miss any of them because you can always catch the replays later on. So excited to be here with you guys. I'm going to take a sip of my water really quick because I've been incredibly thirsty today. I am in officially now my third trimester of being pregnant, y'all. And so I am laser focused on getting everything I can get done this month as I get ready to really usher in a new life in a couple of months. But also, it really is a part of my routine to kind of look at every new month as a new chapter for my life, both professionally and personally. And so I want to encourage you to do that today. Today's training is going to be pretty short. I've got some notes here in the background that I kind of typed up this morning and organized. And so we're going to dive right in. But before I do that, I also want to just kind of give you guys a little nudge and let you know that our Vital Fest is coming up, you guys, less than 30 days away now. And if you have not gotten your tickets for that, make sure that you do that. We do have promotions going on. If you got one of our elite packs, you should have a ticket. If you have already gotten a ticket, you can get a second one. And so there's some beauty behind all of this, right? So we want you to gear up, get ready, and get ready to grow this holiday season as we get ready for Vital Fest, which is in Anaheim, California, November 1st and 2nd. We do have discounted hotel blocks available. We do have discounted Disneyland tickets available. If you're wanting to do that on Halloween, you are welcome to. There's going to be lots of people within our team and within our group that are going, so you can coordinate that through our WhatsApp community channels and through any of your leadership private channels. So having said that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and actually pull up my notes here in the background and make sure that we can get this show on the road if my notes will pop up. There we go. I was struggling for a second. Okay, so October, just to be clear, is my favorite month for several reasons. One of them is that it's my birthday month, it's my anniversary, I've got a baby shower coming up, but also it really is the beginning of some of the best months in our industry. And so even more than ever, it is crucial for you to set the tone and have a great month so that you can really capitalize on these next few holiday months when people are trying to support their families, both financially and health-wise, as we get into what we like to call the sick season. So I want you to ask yourself today, like, what is it that worked for you well in September? This is kind of how I plan my months. Like, here's a couple of questions I ask myself. One is I ask, what worked for me last month? Right? Maybe it's that you really did stick to your workout plan of working out 3 to 4 times a week, right? And you felt like that gave you more energy, more confidence. What is it that worked for you last month? Maybe it's that you scheduled and put a reminder, an alarm in your phone to catch these AM Power calls live or to catch our overviews and our natural remedies live. What is it that worked for you? Was it, scheduling time for your business or scheduling time for yourself? What is it that didn't work for you last month, right? So we are not going to sit here and harp on anything that didn't work for us. We simply just want to recognize it and release it. So as you are planning, you want to say what worked. Obviously, we want to repeat that. So we want to repeat the actions that work. And then we want to ask what didn't work. And we want to recognize and release that. and have the awareness moving forward of things that don't work for us so that we don't continue to do the things that don't work, right? And then ask yourself, what would make this month awesome? Like, what is it in your world that would make October awesome? Is it, continuing a workout regimen? Is it making sure that you take your supplements every day? Is it hitting a new rank? Is it getting a certain amount of customers? Is it reaching a certain financial milestone with your vital health life? Like, what is it that you feel like that would be a good goal for you, that really allows you to shine and feel like you were able to look back at the end of October as you're going to Vital Fest in Anaheim and you're like, man, I feel so proud of myself. And I really want to encourage you, like, yes, it's great to have these huge goals, but to set some smaller ones too, that you're like, you know what, if I did that this month, I would be happy, right? It's like you got your good, great, and better goals. Your good ones are like the bare minimum. You're like, I would feel good if I did that, right? It's not, I'm going to work out 6 days a week. It's like, I'm going to make a goal that no matter what, I'm going to work out 3 days a week. 4 would be better. 5 would be great. 6 is like even beyond, right? So, what is it for you that would make October awesome? Set some little goals along the way. And that's kind of how I like to reflect on my previous month and then open up for the new month and just start setting some small goals. Yes, some of them can be like quantifiable, like how much money you want to earn, how many customers you want to get, how many new partners you want to get, what rank, but also just setting some like non-quantifiable goals. Like, what is the feeling that you want to bring into October? Something that's like, I want to go into October feeling confident. I want to feel more prepared. I want to feel, more energized. What does that look like for you? And really kind of setting that tone for October. So now, once you've kind of done that, here's what I want you to do next is I really want you to, again, kind of recognize and release everything that didn't work for you in September and use today as a reset button, right? As you kind of look at the rest of your month, right? We're only on day 2. You have time to do this. But you want to get it done as soon as possible and you want to write down those goals. So the 3 layers of preparation for a new month is I write down my goals and I write down how I'm going to get those things done. Like, what is it that I want to achieve and how am I going to achieve it? And so how I'm going to achieve all of the things that are on my list, like I have several milestones both in my personal and professional life this month, right? Like I have business goals of making sure I want to have X amount of people at Vital Fest. I want to make sure I recruit X amount of people. I want to make sure, for myself personally that I'm working out X amount of days. I've also got some things that like must be done, right? I told you guys I got a baby shower, I got a birthday, I got an anniversary. We're also traveling at the end of the month, so I got to get childcare. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces. I got bills to pay. I got, places to go. I got meals to make, all the things, right? Like I'm literally looking at my month and writing down everything that I need to get done. And then now I want to figure out how the heck am I going to get it all done, right? I know what I want to do. How am I going to do it? And so this is for me absolutely key is finding a daily method of operations that starts with my non-negotiables, right? And you guys kind of maybe heard me talk on my last AM Power call. I talked about, what are some non-negotiables that you have to do on a daily basis that make you feel like the best you? For me, it's like, I have to spend time with God every day. I have to have a moment of silence every day. I have to get some type of movement in every day. It doesn't mean I have to do this huge long workout, but I might need to go on a 15-minute walk every day just to feel good, feel taken care of, and feel like I'm working in the right direction. But also, I have some non-negotiables for business, right? Every single day, there's something that I want to do every day. And I always want to reach out, follow up, communicate, and post. Now, this can come in a variety of ways. And I encourage you, yes, it's nice to think like, and let me just go over that again so you guys have it. I reach out, I follow up, I communicate, and I post. So I'm reaching out to new people. I'm following up with people I've talked to. I'm communicating with my team or upline leadership or both. And then I'm posting in some form or fashion. Now, I may not post on all my platforms, or I may not post, a post and a story and a reel and this, but I might post in my broadcast channel. I might post on my Facebook. I might post a reel. I might go live. I might only be in my stories one day, but I'm going to show up on social media every single day except for Sundays for me personally, because when I'm posting online, it's showing people that my open sign for my business is open. I am open to talk to communicate with, whether that's personally or professionally, right? This is a relationship business, so you want to be networking and building those relationships. But those are the things that I have to do every single day as my daily method of operation. Now, it might look different how I fit those in on a daily basis, but I'm going to try to do it every day. I mean, if you guys follow me on social media, you'll see sometimes it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm like, hey guys, and I'm on my stories and I'm like, I just realized I haven't posted today, but I should probably come in here and tell you what I did today. So what's up? And that's not really because I'm adding like any incredible piece of value. It's really, again, just to show people like, hey, I am an active user of social media and I show up, because subliminally, that's what people want to see, is somebody who's consistent. Um, and so, for my prep, I set my goals. I determine my daily method of operation for both personally and professionally. And then I find a way to keep track of it all. And that is the biggest deal. So you have to decide right now, are you going to use a notebook? Are you going to use an app? Are you going to use a calendar app? Are you going to use a whiteboard? What does that look for you? And it does not matter. It just needs to be something that you can consistently stick with. Okay. For me, I use Google Calendar, and I use an old school planner that has a time blocking system so that I can measure out everything. Now let me show you what I have, and then I'm going to tell you what Miles does, because we are very, very, very different. I'm going to flip to a page that doesn't have anything on it yet so that you guys can see. But I have a calendar, and it goes hour by hour, and it has a section for work and it has a section for home. And so I go hour by hour throughout my day, or throughout my week. I plan my weeks on Fridays, and I go through and I'm like, all right, what needs to get done this week? Where can I get it done? And I schedule in my non-negotiables first, right? That's like my quiet time, my workouts, and then what I'm going to be doing for business, reaching out, posting, following up, blah, blah, blah. The posting, I don't necessarily have to squeeze in there most of the time. It's more of like a, hey, get this done at some point during the day. But I have to track those things, because what gets tracked gets done, right? What gets scheduled gets done. What gets tracked grows, right? And so just kind of having that in mind to, what is it that you're going to use this month to keep track of all the things you want to get done? Is it just for Miles, he has a old school spiral. He doesn't even have a planner. He only uses his phone calendar for like meetings and stuff. But every single day, every single night, he goes and he has a to-do list that he writes down, and he writes down, um, you know, in the morning time, he writes down like the things he's grateful for. And then he writes down all the things he needs to get done today and any calls that he has. And then at the end of the day, every single day, he goes through and writes notes on the different calls, what got canceled, what got scheduled, what needs to be followed up on. And then any to-dos that he didn't get done, he moves them to the next page. And so he starts the day the next day with already a short to-do list. And then the next morning he wakes up, he does his gratitude on that paper. He has a to-do list, he writes down a few calls, and then at the end of the day, he repeats the process. So it's different for everybody. I want to give you permission to really experiment and find what works for you. I am very much a hybrid girly. I used to only use paper, and then I realized that I sometimes didn't keep up with my paper, or it was better for me to have something that was digital, because I love the way all my little color-coded little things in my calendar look, if you guys can see my screen. So just find something for you, and then learn to time block. If you guys don't know what that is, that's where you are not just setting goals, but you're setting those actions in place by blocking time off of your calendar. So again, what gets scheduled gets done. If you're struggling to show up on the calls, I'm going to always ask you, well, are you putting them in your calendar? Guys, even though I know like intuitively when the calls are every single day, like I know we have a AM power call every single day, it is in my calendar with the link in my calendar so that I can just click on it and show up, right? Now, even myself, I can't make all of them, right? I had a doctor's appointment the other day. I have another one tomorrow, or a chiropractor appointment the other day. I have I have a glucose test for my pregnancy tomorrow. Like, I get it, but it's in my calendar so that I'm not, if I have a week where, Monday I'm traveling, Tuesday I got a chiropractor appointment, Friday I've got a glucose test, it's like 3 days out of the week, like it just becomes further away from my mind. It's like come Monday, boom, my calendar is reminding me when that is. And I'm purposely trying to not schedule things during that time so that I can dedicate that time to growing myself, right? Because if I grow myself, I'm going to grow my vision, my fire's going to stay lit, I'm going to grow my people, all the good things are going to happen, and I'm going to learn strategy, skills, and tactics along the way to become a better leader, you know? And then, I schedule in our natural remedies calls, our Discover Vital calls, our Saturday calls, Again, you may not be able to make all of them, but if they're not in your calendar, if they don't have a notification going off reminding you, right? You could be somebody that's just out walking your dog every day at that tenant. I mean, most of you are probably at work, but a lot of you, 115 of you are here right now. So having that in your calendar is so helpful. But also using this time, like where are you going to time block time to do things like your reach outs and follow-ups, right? When is that going to happen for you? It doesn't mean that you need to schedule hours a day. If you're able to, fantastic. But most people, when they're getting into this industry, right, they're doing this as an additional stream of income, or they're doing it part-time, just like I did in the beginning. I was working full-time 40, 50 hours in the bar and nightlife industry, working, till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and I was going to school during the day. I did not have hours to dedicate. In fact, most of the hours that I did have free were really spent commuting. And so what I ended up having to look and do was look at my calendar and be like, all right, when am I going to find time to work my business? And so what I was doing is, in the 10 to 15 minute breaks between my classes as I'm walking across campus, I'm reaching out to people, during my lunchtime at school or on my, dinner break at work. I was taking that time to follow up with people. And so if there's a will, there's a way. I don't care if you have to dismiss yourself for a 15-minute break at work or whatever, or at home with the kids or whatever, go park it, and just spend that time. It doesn't have to be hours, especially if you are a parent and you've got 3 tiny toddlers running around your ankles, put a sensory bin out, put on Miss Rachel, give them a snack during quiet time or during nap time, take 10 minutes for you to relax and reset, and then take 10 minutes to reach out. Something is truly better than nothing. And I want you to start looking at your schedule and the way that you show up in your life and in your business is, yes, sometimes having these big, amazing goals is awesome, but like, what is an action that you can take every day that would be the next best thing, right? You may not be able to work out for an hour every day, but could you go on a 10-minute walk? Or could you do 15 minutes of stretching and Pilates or yoga at home, right? What is the next best thing? So, time blocking, being on those team calls, scheduling time for your follow-ups and your reach outs. A lot of times will do those while I'm on a call, to be honest with you. So it's absolutely okay if you're doing that, if you need to stack some stuff so that you can get it done. Absolutely. And then when are you going to communicate with people? Are you scheduling coaching calls, or do you need to send out, do you need to set 10 minutes aside and, send out 10 messages that just say, hey, I just wanted to check in on you. Is there anything I can do to support you today? Right. So we're now at 10:20. We've got about 20 minutes, or we've got about 20 minutes in. And here's what I want to just say too, is like, as you're getting ready for, let's see what Damon said. Yeah, Damon said he got to 40K a month in network marketing while working full-time as a barber. That's the thing, is like, it's where there's a will, there's a way. Something is better than nothing. And over time, the idea is that if you do enough in this business, you're going to free up time and finances so that you have more time to work your business. And then, of course, if you wanted to go full time, if that's a desire for you, you can absolutely make it happen, you guys. But I have seen countless people make six and multiple six figures in this industry working full time. Some people love what they do, they just don't love what they get paid. So they like to do vital health or network marketing on the side, right? So yeah, there's nothing wrong with working a job while building a business. In fact, that's how pretty much most people start, 90% of people. So, and scheduling too, guys, like scheduling how you can get to Vital Fest at the end of this month. I want you to ask yourself too, as you're, put these on your little notebook if you're taking time, or write them in your phone right now, is, here's some questions that you can ask yourself as you're getting into October and as we're getting closer to Vital Fest, is like, who are you inviting on your team? Who are you inviting that's not on your team that you want to be there, right? Prospects, people like that you want to join the business. They come to this event, they're in, guys. It's like in like Flynn. Okay. Who on your team needs to get a ticket? Who on your team needs to be prepped and plugged in, right? Like, who are these people that need to be on these calls that you haven't communicated with, right? October, doesn't just mean showing up personally, but it also means helping your team get ready. So that's part of why we want to be communicating in these early stages, reaching out to your team, asking them what their goals are. Are they ready for Vital Fest? Are they on the calls? How can you help to support them? Who can you connect them with? Are they taking their products consistently? These are just things that you can do to prep the month and have people get ready. Whew. Okay, I've got like a few more bullet points I wanted to share with you guys. I tried to shove a lot in here, and here's what I'll tell you. Here's your call to action when it comes to planning your month of October. Are you ready? Here's your call to action. I want you to write your goals and write your daily method of operation. Not only what are your goals, but how are you going to get them achieved on a daily or weekly basis? And then schedule those time blocks in there. Okay. So write your goals, build a DMO, a daily method of operation, and block it in your calendar. Yes, it does take time and planning. I personally like to make a fancy coffee drink on Fridays. I turn on my Alexa and I tell her to play focus music, and I turn my phone on silent. I write down everything I need to get done the following week, and I start scheduling on Friday. I'm scheduling my next week out, and come Sunday or Monday, I'm revising anything that needs to get done. And of course, things are going to move around during the week, because who doesn't have a spouse or children or, other social obligations that happen, or maybe you get sick or whatever, you might get a flat tire. Everybody's going to have it down. But the goal is that if you schedule it, it's going to get done, or at least when you know what you need to reschedule. That's the big thing. If you don't write it down, it's never going to become a priority. It will never get done. But say you have a 15-minute block on Tuesday at 3 o'clock while you're waiting in line, for kids pickup to reach out to a few business partners, guess what? All of a sudden, you get a call at 2 o'clock, your kid's sick. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to go pick them up early. You pick them up, they're immediately sick. You got to go home. You got to play good parent, right? You got to be a present parent. Well, at least now you know that 15-minute block where you were going to reach out to your team and communicate with them on their goals and stuff. You're like, oh, boom, that needs to be rescheduled. Maybe you put the kids to bed that night and you stay up just 15 minutes just to say, hey, I know it's late and it's probably not the best time for a discussion, but just want, things were crazy today at my house and I wanted to reach out to you today just to see how I could support you, right? You may not be able to reach out to all 10, 15, 20, 30 people on your team, but you could reach out to 3. And that's what I mean by that. So scheduling it really helps to know and to be able to adjust. It's like fitting pieces of a puzzle. It's never going to be perfect, but at least you know what needs to be done. All right, guys. Lastly, as you get ready for our amazing October, I wanted to give you 3 simple openers. And I am actually going to post this in the chat for you so that you have them. And bam, 3 simple openers. I would like for you to pick 1, 2, or 3 of, you can use whichever opener or all 3 of them. And I want you to send 3 reach outs today, either before lunch or on your lunch break. And when you're done, I want you to reach out to your upline mentor and let them know that you have done today's call to action for reaching out to start your October strong. Because here's the idea, guys. We could do all the planning in the world, but if you don't get into action and start making things happen, it doesn't matter. So don't get stuck in analysis paralysis over your calendar, because the truth is your calendar doesn't create conversions or customers. Conversations create conversions and customers. Should I say that again? Your calendar does not create conversions and customers. Conversations create conversions and customers. And what I mean by conversions is affiliates. And so you can have the best goals in the world, but if you're not talking to people, nothing will change. So we got to make sure we get you into action, right? I want to give you the prep plan. Boom. Now we got to practice. And so I want you to send out 3 reach outs today. You can do these via text or a DM. But I would just simply say, hey, so-and-so, I thought of you today because XYZ. Just wanted to check in on you. How's it going? And then once they tell you how things are going, you can ask them, hey, I've been working on a fun project and I just wanted to see, would you be open to looking at something that could fit around your schedule? Or you could be a little bit more direct, depending on where you're at. I gave you 3, like 1, the first one's like, I thought of you because if you haven't talked to somebody in a bit, that's a great opener to just kind of get to know where they're at and, start to open the conversation again to prep it for later to maybe, talk to them. Or you could just say, if you see somebody that's, you know, that you've talked to, they're busy, they're looking for an extra way to make money, or maybe they've posted on your social media post at one point, hey, are you open to looking at something that could potentially fit around your schedule to help you get healthier or make more money? Or you could say something as simple as like, hey, so-and-so, I've been thinking about you because I've been working on a fun project and you popped into mind. Can I send you some information? So guys, that is it. That is as simple as it gets. Plan your goals, do your DMO, time block, and reach out to 3 people by lunch today, and you will have an awesome October. And you will realize that it is not built by chance, but it's built by gaining clarity around what it is that you want, scheduling it, and executing so that you have those conversations open. Because this month we're not just working for our goals, right? We're working to have the most amazing Vital Fest so that you go into this event with activity already on the books, with a game plan already in play, looking at November, looking at December, having that vote of confidence, that resume for yourself to be like, I did that in October. And you're going to leverage this event to go even further. We're going to step into 2026 as the strongest, most vibrant company in the world. And we're going to come out with momentum altogether. So I just want you to think about, what is it going to feel like? What is it going to smell like? What's it going to taste? What's that? How good are you going to feel when you're walking into 2026, knowing that you gave this final quarter your all? So I hope you guys got a lot of value out of today and that it helps to support you and give you some just really simple action steps. Just set your goals, figure out how you're going to do them in a practical way, schedule it in, and reach out to some people. I love you guys. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.